majority of us actually go through a spiritually unconscious state because we were conditioned to be spiritually unconscious. We come in very conscious, very wide-eyed and available to life, but we are socialized and conditioned to doubt ourselves from anything from original sin and being told if you're Catholic, for example, or Christian somehow that you're not okay just by taking a breath, or maybe you've had parental figures or social figures, just controlling external figures that have put upon you before you were old enough to make your own choices, a very oppressive veil between you and who you are. And you learned at a very young age that if you don't comply and submit to these external viewpoints, you will be rejected, you will be abandoned, you will be hurt. A lot of serious consequences when you're too young. But bit by bit, as we move into our spiritual maturity, we begin to feel very uncomfortable with those very same beliefs. And more people are just spontaneously sort of waking up and recognizing that that's not true, that's not me, it isn't rewarding like I was taught it would be, and I can't do this anymore. The biggest value, actually, rather to tuning into your divine source, comes in that you begin to feel less fearful. You begin to physically feel less stressed and anxious. So there's a lot of physical benefits. Your health improves right away. Your tension improves. Therefore, your relationships improve because you're less reactive, and your mind gets freed up, and therefore you can become more inspired, more creative. Your thoughts quiet down, so you tune into your intuition, and you begin to actually feel guided from the inside, and your whole energy field expands, and you're brighter and more available, so people feel better in your company, and they open their hearts and their lives to you. So it's just this exponential unfolding of goodness. It's no bad benefit. It's just all good benefit. We wonder what one of the things that occurs when you tap into your spirit and you start living from source and more direct guidance is that you begin to experience synchronistic events. Things such as really simple, your car spot opens up, your car parking opens up the minute you turn the corner in the crowded lot, or you're just thinking of your best friend from high school or college and they're calling you at that very minute, or you're thinking that you want a new job and someone might mention to you the very moment you're ready to look that there's an opening. It just seems to be this great interception with your desire being met by life's response, and it just kind of keeps happening. The question is, who's orchestrating this? Well, you are part of a greater orchestration. The biggest thing that shifts for you is you begin to realize you're not outside life looking in. You're in the flow of life as it's constantly moving toward harmony and balance. So a need is naturally met with a response, and a talent of yours is actually met with a need, and you begin to kind of flow and sway with life because that's how it works. What doesn't work is when you're in your ego and you're trying to fit in from the outside and trying to pick and choose and jump and control, and you know that doesn't work. You don't have to believe me, just how's it going for you? So there's a higher self, there's a divine wisdom and harmony and balance that runs the universe, God's source, your higher self, your guides. I mean, it's a whole constellation of consciousness out there beyond what we see on this plane. So everything in the universe is conspiring for your success. I think the first thing to do to make that step away from ego-based living is develop a sense of humor about yourself. Don't take yourself so seriously or scrutinize yourself with such heaviness and such criticism. Remember what you loved when you were little. Remember what makes you laugh, what lifts your spirit, what distracts you from worry, the things you loved as a kid. Do some of that, and if you can't do it, at least just name it. Even the very act of expressing what you love kind of warms that spirit in you and begins to percolate that seed of light. So that's a very big beginning. Another beginning is to be quiet enough to listen to your heart. It doesn't take, you don't have to go to a mountain and meditate. Just take a few moments and stop talking. Just breathe and listen and feel what your heart is trying to say. And then give it voice. Just put your hand right on your heart and say, my heart says, and see what pops out. It's not a struggle to be who you are. It's a breath away. So just don't let your mind trick you into thinking it's difficult. It's not. It's actually the most natural thing in the world. Just remember what you love. I believe that one of the ways to step past those limiting beliefs is to take it step by step, rather than trying to jump into enlightenment. Just be aware moment to moment, reflect on your experience, and ask yourself often, is there something I can choose differently when you're having a difficult or limiting experience? Just breathe and wonder, is there something I can do differently? I think that you'll have more success stepping back and opening up to yourself rather than trying to slam into yourself with some intense intention. It just doesn't work that way from my experience, and I've had a lot. So I think a breath, I think a question. What does my heart say? That'll always help you. Here's another question. What am I afraid of? Just name it. Just name what you're afraid of until you have nothing else to say, and then breathe in, and then ask, what does my heart say? And those little steps are very powerful to move you out of limiting beliefs. My final recommendation is stop talking about them. Stop feeding them with your own conversations and being sucked into limiting beliefs by having negative conversations with others. Fill your mind with more glorious things. Beauty, music, art, good books, paintings in the museums, flowers in the garden. Fill yourself up with the things that resonate to your true spirit. And those limiting beliefs kind of curiously start cracking off on their own.